So hi. First of all, I'm going to start with a little introduction about me. So my name is Purnama Melissa, and I got invited by Adrian, who came to my cultural classes. And yeah, he loved it. He's my most disciplined student. He came to all my classes. And yeah, so I am Balinese-Swiss. My mom is from Bedulu, which is very close to Ubud, 10 minutes from Ubud Center. And my father is from Switzerland. And I come from very traditional families on both sides. My family in Switzerland is very Swiss, very traditional. And I had to go through the whole Christian, how you call? I had to get baptized. I had to do my confirmation, even though I didn't want to. And on the other side, my Balinese family is also very traditional. So as Ankur mentioned, I'm coming from a lineage of priests. So my grandfather is the village priest, and I grew up with this very rigid Balinese family life and religious life here. And as a child, it was really hard for me to find my identity and to find my home in either of those because I felt like I didn't really belong to either. I grew up in both. I grew up partly in Indonesia and also partly in Switzerland. And then as soon as I was able to leave my house, I went on traveling. I lived in France for a while, and then I went on and went to university in Argentina and traveled a little bit in South America. And then Spirit told me to come back to Bali. Like it was so strong, having to come back to Bali. But before I came back to Bali, I traveled a little bit more in countries in Latin America, and I went to Morocco as well. And the thing that always hurt me the most was seeing the division between the foreigners, between tourists and expats, and between the locals in those countries. So not only in Bali, but also in Morocco, in Latin America. So in any, you would say, developing countries. And I felt like this great injustice, this big split that we have between the two. And of course, I cannot do anything. Like in Morocco, in South America, I'm a tourist, right? I come from Switzerland, like I have all this money. So, but I knew that if I come back to Bali, at least in Bali, I would be able to make a difference. And so that's been what has been driving me for the past 3 years that I came back to Bali, to be a bridge between the expat community and the Balinese community. Because also here, the gap is really big between the two. And I always feel like I have to put on a different suit when I'm with my expat friends than when I'm with my Balinese friends. And I have to put on a different persona. I have to speak differently, and they don't have the same interests. Like, for example, my expat friends don't really speak Indonesian. Like most of them really don't speak Indonesian, although they have been living in Bali, for example, for 5 years. And so they could never communicate properly with my local friends. And then my local friends, on the other hand, don't feel like going to an ecstatic dance. So yeah, I felt that there has to be another way of bridging the two together, of creating a space where both can meet. And so that's what I'm doing now. And I will explain a bit how I'm doing that. And also just as a side note, yeah, I'm a musician and teacher and activist in that sense. All right, so firstly, how I plan or how I envision for foreigners to take part more of the Balinese culture and to take part in the Balinese life is by teaching them about Balinese culture. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. And the way how I do it is through workshops. I offer workshops where I teach just all the basics, the basic philosophy, which is a very beautiful, very deep and very wise philosophy, full of indigenous wisdom. that also is being forgotten by the newer generation in Bali, who are often just spending time on social media and wanting to become more Western, wanting to look European or wanting to look Australian. And yeah, the consumerist culture has really taken over Bali as well. And so I hope through teaching these workshops and doing this work that people, that my Balinese friends, that my Balinese family also gets inspired and sees, wow, actually, yeah, our culture and our philosophy is really, really deep. And yeah, let's preserve that. And I also do that by bridging together my Balinese family together with my friends, with the expat community, bringing them in, letting them teach how to make canang and how to make tipat, all of these beautiful hand-woven Balinese art made out of palm leaves. And that's something that is very, very normal for Balinese women to do. It's something that they grew up doing since they were teenagers or children. But for us expats, it's for expats, it's like, wow, that's amazing. How do you do that? Can you teach me? And some of these are actually pretty simple. Like, for example, the jajan Bali, the sweets are really easy to make, and it's something that you can bring home to your family abroad and show them, hey, I learned this in Bali. I learned how to make Balinese cakes. And yeah, it's an indigenous way of baking and of making food by the fire before we had a stove and an oven and all of that. And also what I'm planning to do next is to do an online course where I'm going to teach Balinese culture in a really extensive way, but from the comfort of everybody's own home. And I'm working together with other Balinese priests and Balinese culture teachers on that, and just putting together a really beautiful program that people can join from everywhere that are interested in Balinese culture, so that they can come to Bali like already having this knowledge before coming, or if they're already in Bali, they can just go through all the chapters and just understand our ways of living better. Right. Yeah, because our ways of living are very different. Balinese people have a very different lifestyle than expat, and yeah, it can be hard for an expat to understand this, and just hoping to create some more understanding between the two. You wanted to ask something?
That's very inspiring, Purnama, and even Scott here says that your sentiments resonate with his beliefs, and he would love to share your offerings at Inshallah. So that's beautiful, and how the worlds connect, and it's also part of the conferences is to bring the community together, and we can experience that. When cultures meet and beliefs meet, we can really create wonders. And what you're doing is beautiful, and I think it's even in India, like the cultural difference is so vast and very very similar, where the younger youth is looking more towards the Western culture, and somewhere the Indian culture is also people can learn from your teachings and really take it to different parts of the world. And just one more thought before you continue is the cooking bit that you teach is also like taking a little bit of your memory from that region back to different parts of the world, right? So that was pretty beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you also for for receiving all of this, and that's what I try to do. And so this is the one way. This is building the bridge from the Balinese culture side towards the expats and inviting them in more. And then I have the other, so I forgot about this slide. So these are the upcoming events that I have this and next week. So I'm teaching a Balinese culture class this Sunday, and next Sunday I'm doing a Balinese hand weaving art workshop with my aunts in Canggu, Pererenan. So if anyone here is interested, you can just screenshot this, or I can come back later to this. Just let me know and I can send you this slide and let you know of more information. All right. And so, yeah. Then the other way, how to build bridges within the Balinese community and within the Indonesians towards the expats is through one of my projects, Ruang Berbagi, that I've co-founded with Sarah, who is the founder of Positive Media. So the two of us have this vision of empowering women in Indonesia. So we start with women, and the vision is to expand this in the future and also involve men and children, of course. But we have just started this project one year ago, and so it's still in the baby shoes. And why women? Because Bali is still a patriarchal society. In Balinese culture, the woman abandons everything when she marries, and marriage is it's their goal of your life. So as a Balinese person, you should get married. And as a Balinese woman, as soon as you marry, you cut your ties with your family and you move in with the family of your husband and you become part of their family. And because of this, many women in Bali, and I think also in other cultures around the world, right? So it's not only in Bali, I can imagine in India, it must be very similar. So women in Bali are taught from, since they were children, to please men, to how to be a good housewife, how to cook, how to stay at home, take care of the children. So they don't really have a voice. It's not, they're not really empowered to share their experience or to share how they feel. And so we want to change this by offering support circles, which we do once a month, where women from all over Indonesia are welcome to come and just share what they have on their hearts. So we just teach them that whatever they're feeling, whatever they're repressing, whatever anger or sadness or disappointment that they're carrying, it is a safe space for them to just let it out, to just express it. And especially in the pandemic, of course, it has been much, much, much worse for them, because not only do they have their own duties at home, and then also the lack of money, the lack of funds at home, since many have lost their jobs in the pandemic. But then also on top of that, as many schools have closed during the pandemic as well, they had to play teachers for their children. So everything was just on the women, all of this weight and all of these responsibilities. And so we started this during the pandemic, and it was so well received, and so many women coming and just crying and just letting it out, and having for the first time a place where they can cry, because at home with their husband's family, it's often not safe for them to express their true feelings and to express their emotions, because you're always under the watchful eyes of your in-laws, of your mother-in-law and father-in-law, and you don't want to show like that you're ungrateful, right? You want to keep your face. So we've created this space just for them to be safe and to offer support, to give them some tips, some advice of what they can do. And we also offer workshops, for example, how to use social media, and also yoga and meditation classes. And so, as I said, this is still in the baby shoes. This is what we've started so far, but I have many more visions for Ruang Berbagi. So Ruang Berbagi, the name itself, means shared room, or room for sharing. So my vision for the future is to create schools, or to create places where expats can share their genius with Balinese people. Because let's be real, like there's so many expats living in Bali that are often masters in their fields, like masters in they're like professionals in crypto or awakened leadership or embodied dance, whatever it is, right? But often they only share this wisdom and this knowledge with the expat community. So a lot of people with a lot of knowledge come to Bali, but then they share this knowledge only with other privileged people living in Bali. So what if we can create a space where this knowledge is shared to Balinese people and Balinese people only? So the thing with Balinese people and Indonesian people in general is that we are very, how you call that? We are very hospitable and we want other people to feel comfortable. And so we often step back. And you also see that with Balinese people, when they go to a workshop where there's all foreigners, they will step back. They will not share themselves. And that's why we have created Ruang Berbagi also in the first place as an Indonesian only space, because we know that if foreign women would be there as well, then the Indonesian women would automatically step back and they would not share themselves, because that is how our culture is, right? We're serving and we want the guests to be comfortable. We want them, we want to offer us our place to them. And so my vision is for these schools to be only Balinese or only Indonesian people and no expats whatsoever, but then them being taught by expats or maybe by other Indonesians that are masters in their fields, and creating a safe space for them to learn what is available to expats living in Bali right now already. So I hope this has been clear so far. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, it's pretty clear and it's pretty inspiring what you're doing. Does anyone have any questions or anything they want to add to? You can unmute yourself. Yeah.
I have a question. I'm Jerome.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So I love Purnama. I love what you do. I heard about you yesterday or the first time. I didn't know you would be on that forum. Some of your, let's say, client just recommended you as a. So I just saw the name today. Wow. Anyway, just to let you know, you're doing great work. And
thank you.
My question is more. I love that vision. And then I think that's a bit true and real. You know, like. All these beautiful workshops on the island, and mainly foreigners take it because they have the money. Yeah. So it's not cheap. Also, even sometimes for us, for foreigners, some of these retreats or things, or like, I mean, all these workshops can be, especially if they're like on retreat type for a week, can be quite expensive. So how will your business, I don't know, business model, but how will your model work? How will you be able to, maybe when you have one foreign teacher, I understand that, or an Indonesian teacher can be also Indonesian, but how are you going to pay them? Or because I guess your target audience, the Balinese woman or Indonesian woman, don't necessarily have the means.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we want to find facilitators who are able to give their time for free. So as a way to give back to the island. I think that many expats that are living in Bali are aware of their privileges. I think it's something that is blastingly obvious when you come to Bali and you compare how much you can make for 1 hour in an online session and how much people here are earning in 1 month. And so how we envision this, I'm working together with this woman called Believe, who has a place called Magic Ubud. And she offers her place for free for this as a school, as we said earlier. And the vision is to have this school open once a week. So that once a week, there will be a program from morning till afternoon where the Balinese people, the Balinese students can come, and then having different classes throughout the day. And then finding people who are able to volunteer their time. And it's gonna change, of course, every week. If this is once a week, then this person would just have to do it once a month, maybe. So for example, having once a month teaching about awakened leadership, or whatever the subject is. And I think that would be possible. I think that's fairly possible to find a few people who would be able to do that. Yeah.
This is great. I think I know Liv, by the way, but anyway, the thing is, another question coming on this is like, how do you recruit? Sorry, I don't like the term, but like, how do you get recruit when you're a woman? You know, like your target audience, like, because it's, as you said, in a Balinese cultural context, it's a bit complicated to go to these places because they will have maybe to ask the family. They have to say where they go. What are you going to do? It's not maybe going to be accepted, you know, by the husband or by the family-in-law. So how do you get this woman in?
Absolutely. That is the most challenging part. And that's when we were discussing this vision, we have also found that this is going to be, that's going to be the biggest hurdle to get the students coming to our classes. And I think the best way to do this is to approach the employers, actually. So go to Scott from USADA and go to Sayuri's and go to the owners of CEST and ask them, hey, are you able to let your employer, to let your employee, like one of your employees who is really motivated to learn about awakened leadership or to learn about sound healing, about yoga, to come once a week to our school. And we're going to teach them from morning till evening. And just for 1 month. And after this 1 month, this person will receive a certificate and come back to you with all these skills, right? That are gonna really be enhancing your team, enhancing the way how they communicate, the way how they, like for example, if it's the shift leader or the team leader of the place. And yeah, that has been one way of how we thought, how we can bring people in, because of course for Balinese people the main factor is time. Balinese people simply don't have time to do these workshops, to do retreats because of all these responsibilities. But if their employers are willing to give them this time, just once a week for 1 month, to take off, instead of going to work, they come to our school and learn. I think that's going to be a huge yes for a lot of Balinese people. Yeah. Have I answered your question?
Yes, it's very clear, yeah, and it's a good approach. You will do it for the, let's say, for the job, for the, yeah, like in terms of training. So it's a way, it's a double benefit for the employer, gets something out of it, and because the person is at work, it's okay. It's a work thing.
Exactly. And also I believe that those people that work at these places are usually also a little bit more open-minded. So these Balinese people are usually already in touch with the expat culture, and yeah, are the ones that are going to be more excited to join the school. And then yeah, from there on it's gonna grow for sure. But we're gonna start small. We're gonna keep it small in the beginning, because one thing that I've learned in the past is that when you put yourself on too many big visions at once and you want to accomplish too much at once, you just get burned out. So better one step after the other. And yeah, so that's gonna be the first step. So yeah, if you want to find out more about the things that I do, I have, first of all, my personal website, which is seedsoffreedom.net. And I am looking for a better word because I've used Seeds of Freedom for the past 4 years, but now I think the word is too long and I need to go with a Indonesian word, something like usada, something very short and nice. But yeah, you can find out more about the work that I do there. And then Ruang Berbagi is the second one, is shared room, the sessions that we do right now, the circles that we do for the Indonesian women, and hopefully in the future also for the men and for children as well. And that is the vision also that I have with the school, that hopefully we will start with next year. And we're currently having a fundraiser. We're having a crowdfunding campaign. If you go on the website, you can find it. And we're raising funds to enlarge our team and to get more yoga mats here, because I do it here at my house. So this is our yoga shala at my house. This is where we have the circles. And so far I've been paying everything out of my own pockets, and all of the facilitators were all volunteering our time. But it would be really lovely if we could have some new yoga mats, because the old ones over there, you cannot really see them from here. They're like really old, and it would be really amazing to have some new props so we can give proper sound healing and yin yoga sessions up here. So if you're interested, and if you're able to give something, if you're abundant, it would be really received from the bottom of our hearts. So I don't know, what time is it now? Oh, it's already half an hour. Okay. Uncle, do you have anything that you want to add?
So that was beautiful, Purnama, very inspiring, and wish you the best. And may you inspire hundreds and thousands of souls along your journey. And yeah, so thank you once again for being here, and wish you the best.
Thank you so much, Uncle. So I just want to mention also, I'm really young. I'm only 28 years old, so I'm just starting. And I really hope that in the future, this is going to become something bigger, as I also will gain more experience and work with more people. So yeah, thank you so much for listening and for receiving this and for your encouraging words. It's really, really helpful, because sometimes I feel like I'm way too small to make a change, but actually none of us is. And yeah, thank you so much. It means a lot.
Everything big starts with the first step, and it's always a baby step. So yeah, just keep at it. And you could also speak offline with Adrian. Maybe do your fundraising in a tokenized manner, which also opens up the world. Various people from across the world who want to be a part of your journey could invest in your tokens and in your project. And that way you could grow a community. So you could consider that as well.
Yeah. That's true. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Matur suksema.